you doing, buddy?
All right, myself.
Good, thanks. Thank you for having us over today to look at this beautiful Mk5 Jetta. Let's just get into what's been done on the car. Can you take us through what was done on the exterior first, Dylan?
I think the first thing you'll notice is obviously the 19-inch Helios wheels.
Yeah.
They're OEM.
Yeah, original.
And obviously the car is lowered, so it's running a Koni coilovers, which has damper settings.
Yeah.
And obviously the brakes were upgraded in the front. We're running Golf 6Rs.
Nice.
Calipers. I think from there also the steel brake lines are upgraded as well on it to give it a little bit more better braking. On the sides, you'll find that we've upgraded to Jetta GLI side skirts. The reason being is I wanted something that matched the overseas Jetta, which they have a format of a GTI version, which is the Jetta GLI, as well as the rear diffuser, which is also Jetta GLI. So it took me a number of years to source these parts because I wanted the factory finish on it.
You wanted to create your own Jetta GLI in South Africa.
Yes, correct.
Very, very cool. In terms of the front end, Dylan, what's going on there?
So on the front, it's still running the stock bumper. And all the necessary grills. The only difference on this bumper is obviously the vortex lip, which is also from VW. I mean, the aftermarket ones don't offer the same fit and finish. And then obviously I've blacked out most of the chrome that these Jettas come with from factory.
And like an interesting fact, the Helios on this car is actually original VW parts. So you kept the car while you modified the car while still keeping it OEM.
Correct. Yeah, I think the other thing on the rear, obviously you'll notice as well with the GLI diffuser is the tail lights as well. Overseas they get offerings of a cherry red. So the lights have been done and smoked like that to give it that effect as well. So it gives it a more aggressive look on the rear as well. I've always been different. I think because I've always been into Jettas. I think from a Jetta 2 to a Jetta 3.
Jetta 2 CLI 16 volt?
No, unfortunately I wasn't in a position to afford that at that time. But I had it was a CSX. But it was modified as well.
Very cool cars now though, still very cool.
So unfortunately, that car left me under circumstances I didn't want to happen. But and then I had a Jetta 3, and then I didn't really like the Jetta 4. I couldn't see
the Jetta 4 was a bit of a weird...
I didn't like the rear that much. So, and then this caught my eye because of the engine that comes in this.
Yeah, very cool. Dylan, let's move on to the engine. Just take us through what has been done here.
So basically, on the engine side, this car is fully built. So the motor's been built up from the bottom up. So it's running J pistons, IE rods, APR bolts, and
also fully forged.
Fully forged motor. Even from a cam point of view, it's running Golf 6R cams.
So nice.
It's running upgraded fuel pump. Obviously, the turbo on it is no longer the stock KO3 it comes with. It's got a KO4, which is variant from the S3. And similar on your Golf 6Rs as well. It's got a catch can in there. We've also, obviously, the injectors have to be upgraded with this kind of model.
The injectors, are they the S3 injectors?
Yes.
And intercooler is also what needs to be upgraded.
Very key. What we found is when I first sort of did the mods, the intercooler was one of the big things we did. We're running a CTS intercooler. So it actually runs slightly cooler than the S3 coolers that people usually upgrade
opt for. That's the common.
So I think now if you have to price them, they're quite expensive.
The CTS cooler.
CTS coolers.
And is running water meth?
So it's got throttle pipes for the outlet of the turbo and the inlet. So the intake manifold. So on the intake manifold, we're running 2 jets for methanol. So one has a spacer plate for where the throttle is, and the other one sprays at the bottom.
And the intake manifold, is that still stock?
The intake manifold, no, that's also CTS.
CTS, because I know the standard ones are plastic.
It was upgraded to accommodate obviously the jets for the methanol as well. So it has, the CTS one comes with a bottom jet where you can bolt on. And then CTS also supplies you with a spacer plate that you put for your throttle body. And you can also put a jet there as well.
Oh, nice. And in terms of downpipe and exhaust,
so it's running a full Rogue Performance. front to back system. So Dwayne from Ron Performance, he built the system for me. So yeah, I think it's very custom. I don't think any other Jetta has put the system on the car.
Okay. And transmission, is it manual or DSG?
It's manual.
Okay, the manual is bulletproof in these cars, from what I've heard and seen.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard issues with it, but I think obviously from a power point of view, obviously clutches are one of the things that become an issue, because it can get a bit pricey if you have to import them.
Okay, and who was your tuner for this build?
So Yosh from Dark Arts Performance.
Okay.
He did the engine build and basically most of any bolt-on or any upgrade that has been done. I think he even helped me put on the side skirts and rear diffuser.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of my car, he's been working on my car for the past, must be 9 years now.
Wow, nice.
So yeah, and I think he built this motor maybe close to 8 or 7 years ago.
Oh, so it's a standing.
It's proven itself that it's bulletproof in terms of his work. So yeah, I've been happy with him as a tuner.
Very nice.
And from a software side, it's running Unitronic on it.
Okay, and what power figures are we looking at here?
So the last dyno before we changed the file, we ran 232 kilowatts on the wheels and about 510 Newton meters of torque.
Oh, nice.
It probably runs a bit more than that, but we didn't see the need to dyno it again.
Okay, and
I was happy with
this is
the way the car
in Johannesburg, done it in Johannesburg.
Everything's been done in Johannesburg. Yeah, he's based in Boksburg.
Okay, and let's move on to the interior. Dylan, what has been done here?
So on the interior, I think the first noticeable mod you'll find is obviously the Golf 6R wingbacks.
Wingbacks, yeah.
I'm lucky to also have Yoshin, who also helped me get
Saucer
the seats.
set, yeah.
So I've got the front and the rear, so it looks almost like the car came with
the interior, nice.
Yeah, and then the other noticeable thing you would see is obviously I'm running a Golf 7 GTI steering wheel, or Golf 7R steering wheel, you could say. But I've got the buttons to work on it. Just some other small things that I need to get working on it. It's got Golf 5 GTI cluster, which also I fitted in, because the cluster that comes in the Jettas are not that sporty. And
so you wanted the full feel.
Because I wanted it to model after the Jetta GLI. I took.
So you went to the full extent of creating.
Yeah, so it's running a bit of that. And I think small things like it's running TPS, factory TPS, TPMS, which is obviously the tire pressure sensors. So it uses the ABS system to basically figure out if a car's tire pressure is running.
Oh, nice, very nice.
So and like small things like your USB fittings and all that there. And then I think the big one is obviously the blacked out interior. That's the hood lining. From factory, these come with like a grayish, light gray.
Okay, so it's not like the GTI hood lining.
Yeah, it doesn't come like that. So I sourced a lot of the GTI parts, like even your grab handles, the light switch, even your small airbag sign had to be sourced in order to complete
a lot of detail gone into this.
So it had to. I didn't want to paint it because I wanted to try and get the OEM one, because it comes factory that color plastic.
So I can tell there's a lot of money, time and effort being put into this car. And like I was saying earlier, now it's safe to assume when you spot wingbacks in a car, you can estimate that this owner has put in a lot of money in a car, because these seats all on its own it's a huge price. Dylan, the car is absolutely beautiful. I'm really looking forward to the drive, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Feels very similar to a 6R, but just much faster.
I think you have a bit of drivetrain loss on the four-wheel drive on the 6R. But the thing with the 6R is the four-wheel drive, the stability around bends and things like that.
Yeah, you have more confidence.
You do feel it, obviously, now, because this being front-wheel drive, the power is obviously just given to the two front wheels. So, but I think.
But you did make mention that you are looking at possibilities of putting a four-wheel drive, the Golf 6R.
I think
that'll be very cool.
It'll be unique in a sense, but you want to build something that's strong as well and reliable as well. So obviously, parts-wise, South Africa is a bit, I think, sticky in their prices when it comes to even the second-hand market. But even buying new parts, I think VW and stuff, it's quite expensive. So I usually do my shopping around before I settle on something. So if something good comes along,
a good donor
I'll,
car.
and then obviously you need something that where the subframe is not going to be bent, because basically it is a bit of a bolt-on. So there's still a bit of research I've got to do in terms of with obviously the rear diff and
the software as well.
Yeah, the prop shaft, how the wiring is going to work, because obviously that whole system links back into the ECU. Would this ECU be compatible with that? Those kind of things. I still got to research and figure out what do I do to get that in play.
But I think as the car is, I think it's more than enough. And I mean the engine's Ford, so you could always go a bigger turbo. These 6-speed manual gearboxes are known to handle huge amounts of power. And you said you're still using a standard clutch on this.
It's slightly standard. They call it like a stage 1 kit.
Okay.
I forgot the individual that supplied us. It's actually from Durban as well. So they say it's got stronger springs in it, so it helps to hold the power.
Yeah, because this is over 500 Newton meters.
Correct. Yeah.
So the clutch is pretty strong, I think. And this car is still a 4-cylinder after all. Very, very smooth. It's not as loud as I expected it to be, like when it's at high RPM, even the exhaust, because the cabin is very quiet.
It's not too bad. I think on the Jettas maybe they do have a little more sound deadening and those kind of things. Some of it is built for luxury.
Yeah.
And the long distance. So
but it feels like I'm sitting here. I feel like I'm in a Golf 5 GTI. I feel like, well, the seats make you feel like you're in the Golf 6, but you don't feel like you're in a bigger car, you know?
Yeah.
Very nice cabin.
It's surprisingly, for even with it being that big, the handling is not that bad as well. As much as I want to add the 4-wheel drive to it.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I mean, I think the Konis do offer a very stable suspension.
Very, very comfortable for a lowered vehicle, right? And it's not air.
Yeah, I think that's. I've paid school fees on this car with a cheap coilover.
Oh, okay.
Where they call it your kidneys are shaking, or that's. You could actually, if you even went over a stone, you could feel it. That's how bad those coilovers are. So the damper adjustment on it makes a huge difference.
But again, Dylan, the attention to detail on this car is just insane.
Oh, thanks.
Insane stuff. Dylan, before we end, is there anyone you'd like to thank with regards to this build?
Yeah, I think firstly, I would like to thank my wife. I think she's been my biggest supporter of this build. I think without her, I think a lot of the stuff wouldn't be done.
Yeah.
That helps. And then, a huge shout out to Yosh and his team from Dark Arts Performance.
Amazing
for providing and building this dream of mine, and continuously maintaining it whenever there's an issue, and keep servicing it. I think we're constantly looking at ways to improve it, and Yoshin's the details that he takes when he's actually building a car and when he's working with a client, that is very key, and I value that and his friendship.
Yeah.
And I think Rogue Performance, Dwayne from Rogue Performance, building this exhaust system. I think I'm very happy with it, and the support that he gives, even if there's small niggles or exhaust leaks or something that over time happens.
Rogue Performance, right?
Yeah. And then Sujit from One Stop Car Audio, he did the sound setup in the car. So yeah.
Oh, awesome. And maybe in the future we might have Yoshin from Dark Arts Performance on a future.
Cool.
And any future plans with the car?
Yeah, I think
from the four-wheel drive system?
I think just to tidy it up a bit. I think it used to be my daily, so it's got a few nicks and dents, shopping mall incidents. So I want to tidy it up and make it neat, because now it's becoming a bit of a garage queen.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I want to do. And then I think maybe the seats obviously and the interiors still sort of stockish. Maybe we could do the seats up a bit, because obviously the drivers on these obviously can want it a bit more.
On the bolster.
Yeah, so maybe do it up, but yeah, I think that's pretty much where I'm at with this build.
And would you ever think of selling this car?
I've been offered numerous times. People walk up to me because they have a Jetta and they want their Jetta to be like this.
Yeah, so I can understand.
They rather buy it from me, but I don't think that people understand how much of time and effort it takes to put some of the pieces together that I've put, and actually build this, and then let alone the money that you spend to do some of the stuff.
Yeah.
So and then to get someone drive it and actually crash it because they don't understand the power of the car, that is heartbreaking as well.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I don't think I'll sell it. I think it'll stay in the family for a very long time.
And for someone that wants to do this type of conversion engine specifically, what type of price figures are they looking at, plus minus?
Well, I would be lying because I haven't looked at it now. Given the current situation, after COVID, a lot of things have changed. Pricing has changed. Importing of stuff, the cost of that has changed. So, getting together and shopping around and finding pricing from a tuner or someone who actually works on building engines is vital. Do your homework on that.
Okay.
So you can see whether it's a viable option for you.
Yeah, definitely, because you don't want to get into something that turns out to be a huge spend.
And I say, if you are doing something, a build, do it properly the first time around. Don't try and cut corners, because if you cut corners, then it could lead to failures, and replacing one of these engines is quite costly as well.
Yeah, definitely. And sorry, Dylan, I think we're going to end the feature here. Do you guys agree that this is an absolute sleeper? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for watching.
Thanks,
thanks, Dylan.